Obsession channel. In this episode, I am going to be talking about backing up your hard drive in your computer. And specifically, I'm going to talk about imaging and cloning. Like many of you in the YouTube community, you have an awful lot of videos and other important information on your computer. But what if your hard drive were to fail? You know, between the hard drive and the fan, those are the most likely parts to fail within a couple of years. And you know, a fan is no big deal. You can replace a fan as long as it's not the fan on your processor, which would fry your processor. But if your hard drive fails, you lose all your data. So hopefully you backed up your data. But even if you backed up your data, you still have to rebuild the computer, re-put in the operating system, load all your applications, and then put your information back on. A big pain in the butt. But if you made an image of your computer, of your hard drive, or you made a clone, then it makes the process a whole lot easier. So a little bit of work now will save you a whole bunch of work and headache later. Also, the good thing about cloning is, let's say you want to upgrade to a bigger hard drive, you would clone your old drive to a new larger hard drive just very quickly, and then you just swap the drives and you're good to go. So it makes upgrading hard drives a lot easier. So to make an image of your hard drive, or to clone your hard drive, you're going to need a special piece of software. My favorite is Acronis, called PC Backup and Recovery. This is the 2010 version, but I think there's a 2011 version out there, but this is my favorite. It does cost about 49 bucks. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret here how to get it for free in just a little bit. Now, there are other companies that make cloning software out there. Probably the most famous of them all is Symantec Ghost. Other ones out there, just to go over some of the free ones, you could go to Paragon and get a Paragon Backup and Recovery. There's another one out there called Redo Backup. There's Clonezilla. There's about 10 free ones out there. If you just Google, you know, let's test out that Google foo, and go to Google and search for free and imaging software or free cloning software, and you'll find it. And you may have to download one or two, because depending on the hardware on your computer, one might recognize your drivers or your hardware, and one might not, so you might have to try a different one. So anyway, my favorite is Acronis. I use it at work, I use it at home, and it never fails me. Now, I said I was going to tell you how you could get a version of it for free. Well, if you're using if you have a Western Digital drive, whether it be the drive that's in your computer or the hard drive that you are going to make an image to save for a rainy day, if any of those are Western Digital, you could go to the Western Digital website and get a free version of the Western Digital version of Acronis, and I will provide the link below. So let's go ahead and start imaging, and I'll get into the details about this here in a second. So I have a computer here. I just got done getting everything just the way I wanted it. Now I want to make a copy of the hard drive in this computer. Here's the computer. I went ahead and loaded Windows Server 2008 on there. It took a long time, put all the applications I wanted on there, all the data. It took probably about 2 weeks to get everything the way I want it. And now I want to save all that work, because I don't want to do it all over again. So I want to make an image of it. I don't want to make another copy of a hard drive, a clone, because it already has a terabyte hard drive, and I don't need to upgrade the hard drive. I just want to image it, so if it does go bad, I can put a new one in there and then image all that back. Now, you need something to image it to. Now, if you have a home network, you can image it to a network drive, or if you have a USB drive such as this Western Digital World Book, this will work fine. And this is a USB. USB is the most popular out there. Here's another interesting device made by Thermatake. It's called the Black X, and this particular one is the model called the Duo. And what this has is two slots where you could just put a standard hard drive in them, or you can a laptop drive could also fit in there. You just put the little one in the little slot. If you try to shove a bigger one down there, this door flips open, it gets out of the way. And I'll show you. Here's a standard internal desktop hard drive, and I'll just pop that down in there, and it's ready, just like that. So now, like I said, you install whatever software, Acronis, and I'm going to use that, a free Acronis Western Digital version, by the way, for this demonstration. But you go ahead and download it, install it on your machine. The link is below, and once the software is running, you can go ahead and do a backup while your operating system is running, while you're doing stuff. That's called a hot. It's called a hot backup. But the bad thing is, your operating system is running, files might be changing, and it's not the preferred method for me. I like to do something called a bare metal backup, or a cold backup, and that means that you boot off a CD that the software can make. You go into Acronis and select Build Recovery Media, and it tells you to put a blank CD into your machine, and it will burn a recovery disk. Now I have a recovery disk already in the CD. I'm going to show you it. I made it with the recovery software, and I made this disk and burn it. I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to go ahead and reboot the machine so it will reboot off that recovery media. Now before I do that, I want to attach the USB device also that I'm going to be imaging to. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, power, and then I'm going to get my USB cable, and we'll go ahead and put that in the back. And again, you would do the same thing with the USB, regular USB drive. And I'll plug that into the machine. You can see I have the USB right in the front there. Now I'm going to go ahead and reboot so it boots off the CD. Now if your machine is not set up to reboot, you might have to go into the BIOS. Every machine is different, but you would have to hit like F2 or the delete button while it's rebooting, and then tell it to boot off the CD. But in most cases, most computers out of the box, if you put a bootable CD in there, it will probably boot off the CD. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, and I'm going to go ahead and reboot. And do a restart, and this machine is going to restart, and it should I can hear it spinning up the CD. And it should boot off that CD, that recovery disk that I made by Acronis. And the way that you could tell is you'll see Acronis or CD Acronis right here on the top. It says starting Acronis loader, and there is the screen. I'm going to bring you in even closer. Sorry about the camera work here. And again, you can see it says Western Digital Edition. So again, if you have a Western Digital drive, you could get this for free. So if I select Windows here, it's just going to boot up into Windows. I'm going to go ahead and select Acronis True Image, Western Digital Edition, full version. I shouldn't suck snot on the camera, should I? Sorry. Now what it's doing now is it's trying to load different drivers. It has drivers for all kinds of things, and it's trying to find the right driver. Now it says attach a Acronis or a Western Digital drive to this. I thought I did. You know what? It's not gonna go for this hard drive, so I'm gonna have to get this Western Digital drive and hook this one up to it. So bear with me. I'm going to go ahead and get this all prepared, and we'll go ahead and continue right from here. Alright, so I have this Western Digital World book. Hopefully this will work with the free software. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in via USB. And we'll see if it likes that. And it did. Cool. So you're gonna have to have a Western Digital external drive for this to work. I guess a Western Digital hard drive such as this in this Thermatake device is not going to work with this free software. Or just buy, you know, the Acronis, or use some other software that doesn't care about what type of hard drive you have. Anyway, so what I want to do is I want to, let's say I want to make an image of this so I can recover it if my hard drive fails. So I'm going to come over here and do backup. I want to back up my entire hard drive, and I'm going to select the hard drive that's in the computer. Now you have to read a little bit here. Now see my book, that's the external drive right here, that my book. You want to be careful about choosing which thing you want to copy to, because you don't want to wipe out your whole hard drive that you try to back up. So this is the hard drive that's in my computer. I know that because it's almost a terabyte. This says 931 gigabytes. That's pretty close to a terabyte. And I want to do the whole drive, this whole thing, so everything, all the partitions on that drive, that's what I want to back up. So after you select that, I could do next, and then it's going to ask me where do I want to create the backup to, the archive, the file that contains everything on your hard drive. So I'm going to browse here, and I'm going to go to, in this case, my book, which is this drive here, the external drive. And as you can see, here's images of, I make images of every single computer I own. I have old ones and newer ones. It's good to keep it up to date. So I'm going to call this one my HP server. HP server, that's what I'm going to call it. Something that describes what it is good enough. So, and it's going to do that to that drive, and you can see that listed. Now there's one other thing you want to do, and I'm telling you this based on a lot of experience. If the software you're using has the option, I'm going to go down here to backup options, to validate. That means it's going to go back after it makes the image and compare it and make sure that it's correct. You should do that, because if you make an image and you don't test it, then when it comes time to needing it and it doesn't work, you know, it just screws you over. So I'm going to go ahead and proceed, and now it's going to do the backup. Let's see how long it's going to take. Usually these type of things will take a couple of hours. It all depends on how much data you have on your hard drive. Now what you can do in the case of this software is you could check this button so you could tell it when it's done backing up, just turn off your computer. But I generally stick around, and I want to see the results, and I don't want it to shut down. So right now it's the data is transferring, and it's calculating based on how much how fast the data is going, how much data there is. It's going to estimate how long it's going to take, and it's probably going to take I'd say about 15 minutes. I keep on seeing 15 minutes flash up there. So instead of boring you to death while you watch a little green thermometer go up, I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera, and I will start it back up when it's just about done. Okay, we got less than 45 seconds left. Now I do want to reiterate that this device would have worked if we were using the full-blown software or one of the free pieces of software. That there's nothing wrong with that. It just you know, this free stuff, you got to have a Western Digital external drive for it to work. So before you download that software that I provided a link below, it's only useful to those of you that have one of these Western Digital drives, external drives. And we're looking at about 10 seconds left. Everybody count down 3, 2, 1, and we're complete. So we succeeded. So let's say your hard drive failed and you go out and you buy a new hard drive. Now normally you would have to reload the operating system, reload the stuff, but what you can do is you attach your USB device. After you put the hard drive in the computer and you attach the USB device, you boot off the same CD that you just booted off of now, and instead of clicking backup, you would click recovery. And all you have to do is, you know, go ahead and search your external drive for the correct image. Now in most cases, most of you only have one computer, but you would select whatever you called it, and after that you would click I guess you double click that. What do you click? Oh, and you hit disk recovery. So you hit this button here and you would hit next, and I don't want to do this now, but it would go ahead and recover all your stuff onto the new drive you just put in your computer. That easy. When it's all done, you boot up just normally. Now let's say your computer has not failed yet. Everything is fine, but you buy a bigger hard drive that you want to install in the computer. Then what you could do is you could either, image it to external drive, put the bigger one in there, and then image it back, or you could just select clone a disk. So you would put the second disk into the computer, or you can again use a device like this and put the new hard drive into the unit and go ahead and clone it to this, then turn your computer off and put the bigger hard drive in it that you cloned. That's simple. So imaging software, cloning software, I can't live without it. I use it at home, at work. It has saved me so many hours of time, money, stress. It's a lifesaver. So that's about the end of this. Again, I don't want to see any of my friends, viewers, or subscribers lose any data. And I know you all probably have computers, and I don't wish that upon anybody. And I would hope that you could take some preventative measures. The software, again, you could get for free if you do a search. If you have a Western Digital external drive, I provided the link below that will hook you up right away with my favorite cloning imaging software, which is Acronis. But again, you could buy the top of the line, most famous one is Symantec Ghost. It costs about $60. Acronis runs about $50. There's other products out there that are less. And then of course there are ones that are completely free. And again, I just named a couple, being Clonezilla, Paragon, Backup and Recovery, Redo Backup. There's another one called Easus. It's made by a company called Easus that has a backup and recovery software, free version that's pretty good. But with the free versions, you don't have as much support for as broad amount of hardware as the full-blown commercial version does. So What you might have to do with the free version is try it, and if it doesn't recognize the drives or doesn't recognize or doesn't boot up, you have to download it on different companies and hopefully want to work. Now, that be warned, Clonezilla doesn't have a very pretty graphical interface. It's almost like an old DOS menu. It's very clunky, but it's probably the most powerful of the free software out there. So that's about it. That's your tech video of the week. It's still Sunday. I recorded both of these on Sunday, but the Daytona 500 is over, and Tony came in 13th. So, oh well. Who won? Trying to remember. It's that new guy that he on his 20th birthday won. It's incredible. Now I don't remember. Anyway, it's pretty cool. Can you imagine 20 years old? And, you know, your birthday was yesterday and then you win the Daytona 500. I thought that was pretty cool anyway. I would have liked to see Tony win, but oh well, maybe next year. So, thank you very much, friends, viewers, subscribers, for supporting my channel and coming back again and again to see boring Mr. Rogers of me. Just like the Mr. Rogers of gun and tech. And for some reason, you just keep on coming back. So I appreciate it. Have a great evening.